Hi friends, welcome back to my channel. In today's video we're going to see how we can detect and treat scale infestation. Scale is an insect pest which is very common in all your different cactus varieties and species. Very prevalent. It's spread by direct contact, spread by insects, spread by your pruning tools. So you just have to be vigilant and be on the lookout for it and just know that it can be there and treat it when you find it. I was looking through my plants this morning. I saw a beautiful bloom and I saw something alarming. Here's my vanilla sunset plant. In general, it's pretty healthy. I think it had a bloom or two this year. It has new growth. It's got some dead that I need to remove. And check this out. This is scale. It is an insect, believe it or not. The insects are hard-shelled, and then you can see little bitty larvae here moving around. So, as very typical of scale, you'll see one side of the branch doesn't have much. The other side is just covered. And if untreated, this will kill your branch. It will spread to the rest of your plant, and your plant's going to die. So, it's recommended to remove the scale. You physically remove it. Let me just show you how you can tell that it's scale and it's not anything related to the plant like a plant disease. It just scrapes off. So it's not a part of the plant per se. It's not a fungus spot. It is an insect. And those little tiny larvae, they will just spread and spread like wildfire. They'll infect the rest of your plant, or infest, I should say. And they suck. They suck on the plant tissues, and this will kill this branch if I don't remove it. And it's pretty heavily infested. It may already die, I don't know. But you remove it. And what you can also do, you can use insecticidal soap to spray on there and to kill any larvae. I like to just use alcohol. So here I'm putting some alcohol on a cloth. Alcohol will kill them on contact. And I'm going to try and do this with one hand. So it's a 2-for-1. As you wipe this with alcohol, you remove the insects from the branch, you clean the branch, you remove the larvae, and hopefully here's another branch infested here. So this is a pretty heavy infestation on this section of my plant. Knowing the way scale operate, I also know that they are within the soil line of my plant. I just put some systemic insecticide there. I use Bonide systemic granules. This protects against sucking insects that eat your plant. This is a granulated formula. There's quite a bit in this large size container here. You need about 2 tablespoons to treat a gallon pot. And here I've poured about 2 tablespoons into this measuring container. You don't have to be especially accurate with your measurements, but you don't want to waste the product either. But here we've got about 2 tablespoons of our granulated insecticide. We're just going to pour this onto the soil of the plant, right on top. Sometimes you'll find this hard to come by. I had to order this to be sent to a friend of mine who brought it to me because in California you could only get, I believe, very small containers of this Bonide. I think you can get small containers at Armstrong, but to get a large container I had to get somebody from out of state to bring it to me. So after I clean off my branches, and these scale, as you see, they're so tiny. They actually like to go into where you really can't get them, into the areoles. So this surface cleaning is nice, but it's not going to eliminate them. So we've got quite a lot of scale here on this branch as well. Pretty much just comes right off with an alcohol wipe. But don't be fooled, your plant still has plenty of scale in it. And that's why I always will treat these and all the plants that have been around this plant in the near vicinity. I'm going to treat them all with some systemic insecticide such as bonide. And if I clean the plant off, then I'll know if I see a new infestation developing that the bonide has not been successful. I'll be able to see that there's new insects on the plant if I've wiped off all the old ones. So you don't have to wipe them off necessarily if you're going to use systemic, but I think it's good practice to do so. I'm going to water in the systemic insecticide so that the plant can take it up at the roots. So we just water this till the granules look like they're kind of going into the soil a little bit. The recommended amount for a 1 gallon container is about 2 tablespoons. And sprinkle it in, water it in. It'll take this granulated stuff a little while to soak into the soil and absorb. A couple of weeks you'll probably see it still sitting on top of the soil. And the plant will actually take up the chemical from its roots, and it will spread the systemic insecticide throughout the branches of the plant. And the insects such as scale, aphids, mealybugs, any of those sucking insects, once they feed on the juices from your plant, they will die. Now the duration of action of this chemical is about 6 weeks. So you may find that you need to treat it again after 6 weeks. But I think it's very effective, and I've never had to retreat a plant immediately. Sometimes I've had to retreat them the next season. But 1 dose should do you pretty much for the summer. And another thing you can do if you've got a bad infestation of scale, and like I said, I know it does enter at the root surface and under the soil surface. I've seen scale start from the soil area and then work their way up the branches, so I know that it does come up from the soil. You can take your plant out, knock off most of the soil, wash it off real well, and repot your plant and put some systemic insecticide in right then if you'd like to do it that way. Some people advise against using systemic insecticides because the feeling is that they enter into the blooms, and when bees come to the bloom to gather the nectar to make honey, that it's possible that the insecticide could kill the bees. Now, this is a theory, it's never been proven. It's doubtful to me that it's really an accurate story. I've read an article recently saying that there is a problem late in these years lately with bee colony collapse disease, but that has been determined to be caused by mites which inhabit the bodies of the honeybees, and it has nothing to do with bees feeding on flowers that might have had some sort of insecticide treated plant. So there you have it. So if you want to be extra safe, you can just avoid using any systemic insecticide during the season when they're flowering, which is in the springtime. So if you're worried about taking care of the bees, you can just delay your insecticide treatments until after blooming season. And that would be like around the middle of June or so. A good treatment for scale in the early spring, you can get dormant oil spray like nurserymen use on their orchards, and you spray dormant oil over all your plants, and that really helps to cut down on scale. Scale becomes more active once the warm weather comes. In the winter, it's sort of dormant. So if you can spray your collection with dormant oil in the early spring, that really helps to cut back on the scale. Before I sign off for the day, I wanted to show you a really unusual sight. It's July 20th. My space rocket has a bloom. Amazing, because this is summer, even though we've got a cloudy day today. But July 20th, we've got a beautiful space rocket, a really nice surprise. So I hope you enjoyed this brief video about how to detect and treat scale. And we will talk to you all in the next video. Bye now.